my goodness, welcome back. It's another locals vlog. This one doesn't come with a warning. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine. This one is less cursed. But I will say, match one, I had the bye. So I did film another match. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to be trying to commentate over it. And, I mean, I know what both decks do, allegedly. Yeah, also to the person who commented saying to get, I don't know if that made a noise. The cover for the mic, I did it. So hopefully this sounds less aggressive with some of the sounds. But yeah, last locals before going to a regional. So yeah, I took off notes. Let's get into it. Let's see it. Let's do it. Last week I double lost 2 times, and the week before that I lost 2 times. So trying to go positive. Regionals next weekend. Believe it or not, regionals next weekend, so trying to get in games. Still on off note. So like I said, I had the bye. So I was like, hey, can I record you guys' games? And they said yeah. So I did stick around and watch for a little bit, and then I had to move. So Leo is playing Blitzkrieg. My boyfriend, I feel like I've never actually said his name on the channel. You know what? Does he deserve a name, or can he just be Raina's boyfriend? That seems like, you know, you have people who I feel like girlfriends are very often referred to as so-and-so's girlfriend. So this can just be Raina's boyfriend. Raina's boyfriend v. Leo. That's how I'm setting this one up. Leo's on Blitzkrieg. So the Surge got ashed. But that did not stop, because then we grain, and then we break away, and the alternator is a search. Emmy could pop the token, Fallen to pop his own hideout in Kaloom to trigger Emmy to search a trap. Gonna go ahead and search another alternator. Set 3 mysterious cards. One of them is definitely not the alternator, and pass. What got sent? Oh, the Ecclesia got sent off the Fallen. Normal summon Griffo. I feel like that's never a good thing. Is normal summon Griffo a good thing? Link off Griffo into Anima. And then like I said, this is my first time watching this too. I'm like, what are these? Can I commentate a game? Looks like Leo's going to go ahead and activate Breakaway, returning grain for cost in order to pop the Anima. That's going to trigger all his stuff, folks. Everything be triggering. Surge is triggering. Oh, Whisker in hand is going to be a rough one. Activate Alternator, shuffle in for cost. Is there a response? Ooh, there is it. And the Thunder King Raiho, it's the board. No, it doesn't. It goes to hand. Activate pre-preparation of rights. You know, we all like to be prepared, right? Don't we, folks? Everyone watching at home. Pre-preparation rights is going to go ahead and get Raina's boyfriend Light and Darkness Ritual, and I believe that is BLS. That stands for Black Luster Soldier, for those of you who don't know. Another Fallen. And if I'm not mistaken, folks, I believe one of those Fallens is the new OTS metal version. You know what those cards remind me of? Sorry, I gave up on the stint of being a caster. So how do I word this? I was gonna be like, so I'm Hispanic, so, which doesn't immediately equate to Catholic, but like, if you know, you know. So both sides of my family, one side more than the other, was like super Catholic growing up. I had my first communion. Whatever. All that to say is that the OTS cards remind me of like the metal, like plates, not like literal plates, but like metal. Like, did anyone else grow up and saw like the saints, but they were depicted on like what looked like aluminum foil, like in the Catholic church, or like you would see it, people selling them, or like you had like my nana would have like pictures of the saints and like from the Catholic religion, and it was like, it looked like it was on like a metal plate, and it was printed on it. That's what they remind me of. That's what like the new OTS ulties remind me of is they look like they are an homage to Catholic art. The some of the stuff of I don't like them. Not because they remind me of anything Catholic. That's not the reason. I don't like them because I don't think they have depth and they look like metal. And I think some of them, the color loss on them, they're gray. They're gray. I feel like I've seen cards that have a lot more depth and that adding in that metallic effect, which I never even thought of it as a metallic effect until these latest ones came out. Anyway, back to the game. Griffo got taken. Griffo got taken. And this was really funny because when I walked back to see what the heck was happening, and I was like, what the heck is happening? At one point, I hear him muttering, like, am I crazy? He's looking through his grave. Am I crazy? Where's Griffo? Where's Griffo? And I was like, he's hanging out with the impoverished electrical children. He's been taken. They've stolen him, and now he's living in the hideout with all of these like impoverished, children who are just making little contraptions. And it was like, I bet Griffo would actually have a really fun time. Griffo would have a great time living with them. It would be super fun. So at this point, oh my gosh, look at the Wombo Combo link plays that are happening. Cross Sheep is crossing. Fusions be fusioning. I believe at this point we have BLS, which can attack twice if it beats over a monster. We have D-Mod. Don't know what he does. Oh, I know what he does. He fuses into Firewall. Oh, at this point, Leo was like, is that an ulti? See, that's my ulti Firewall. I bought it for $8. Look how much they are now. Well, maybe not. I think they started expensive. I think they're like $30. I got that for like $8. That's the depth. That does not look like the Saints on the pieces of metal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't even know what I can have you Google, but like, if you also grew up Catholic / maybe in the Southwest, maybe this is like a Southwestern Catholic thing, but like, I'm right. You know what I'm talking about, and you're like, oh yeah, they kind of do look like that. And the Firewall does not look like that. And then we're gonna protect. And then see, this is like a lot. Granted, this is what turned 3. I got super distracted on my rant. 5 Angry Girls hits the board. I will never learn the name of that card. I think it starts with a Z. But I remember at one point I was trying to look it up on Omega to see what it did. See what it does. And I typed in 5. And I was like, why am I only seeing like Doom Z stuff? And I was like, 5 Angry. I've convinced myself it's called 5 Angry Girls. Wow. And then we have the Charmers. Maybe I'll go back to Fairy Tale Magistus after the regional. I really do like Elf Note. But I feel like I had a better time going second. I don't know, actually. Does anyone have a better time going second in this format? It might be like a grass is greener syndrome of I'm like remembering and I'm like, oh, I remember when I was on Fairy Tale and if going second was just a beautiful, no, I think it was also still a rough thing. Leo's gonna alternator to search. Thinking. Shuffle your mind to search. Search. Send. Oh, I'm gonna insert. Okay, so Raina's boyfriend wins the tournament. Because, of course. Why wouldn't he? He's actually really good at Yu-Gi-Oh! And sometimes it makes me mad because I'm like, I can't beat you. But I think he's the absolute best person to ever teach me this game because he is really good at the game. And I feel like it has made me a better player having to constantly play against someone who is not only good at the game, but also good at teaching the game. Raina's boyfriend is a pretty good person. You heard it here first, folks. He's a good one. So I'm going to overlay what he got in his winners packs. I was like, sir. Okay, so that was game 1. He's been debating on what to play for the regional. And after the winners packs, it was like, is this a sign from the universe? Or is this like a fake out. Because did you say, yeah. Yep, that's exactly what you think it is. He now has, and he's pulled both of those overframes, by the way. Me and my credit card is the reason that I have nice cards. Him and his ability to win packs at tournaments and just have like really good luck pulling is the reason that he has both of those overframes. I will say he does have, man, look how, oh my gosh, pile shuffling and 2 times speed is like just so fun. I lost my train of thought. Oh, the reason though that he has the 3 secret rare Griffos is because he, I topped and got a secret rare Griffo at the event. Leo topped and got a secret rare Griffo at the event, and then he won a secret. He also got one. And Leo and I, Leo sold his, and then mine's on loan. Well, I don't know if it's on loan. I guess if I ever want to cash in for it, but then I pulled my Starlight Griffo, and so I'm happy now. I don't necessarily need the secret rare back. I do want it in the sense of like, I need to dust. Sorry. That was like my first ever prize that I won. So yeah, he's got some talented Yu-Gi-Oh players in his circle who are able to also help him get some good cards. Dogmatica. Yeah, Leo's playing like a Dogmatica version. Do I know what Dogmatica does? No. I did learn that apparently Dogmatica is considered branded because, but then I got confused because I was like, is everything considered branded? Is Tri-Brigade considered branded? Is Dogmatica considered branded? Like, how we call it a branded version versus, anyway. So, setting up the board I believe that is because I played against this last week, 2 weeks ago. Last week, the locals, that wasn't real. I believe that Dogmatica lady, is that Ecclesia? Is that Ecclesia in the Dogmatic? Anyway, I think that one just gains like a ton of attack, basically. She boosts herself and others. So then if you negate her, it doesn't do anything, because if a monster is giving others the attack boost and not just itself, then imperming or crowning or dropleting or whatever actually is not going to do anything. It only works on monsters that are giving themselves the attack boost. There is Griffo. I like to think that is my Griffo that is doing the work, because my secret rare Griffo was the best in his class and the smartest of all 3 Griffos that are in that deck. And one day he will come back to me and be my baby again. But that is my baby Griffo, allowing the Mind Shuffle to get set. Did he place it? Oh, see, okay, sorry. So, like, future, this will come up when I play him of shortcutting. Griffo does not place. Griffo sets, and then you can activate it the same turn it was set. I either missed him flipping it over, or he did it here too, where he placed it. And it's, keep that in mind if you are, it'll come up when I play him. We'll go into more depth than that of just, yeah, Griffo. It places, or it sets. It does not place. It sets, it doesn't place. We get the Magician's Soul, which I believe on discard is going to let him draw some cards. That's some type of Dogmatica trap, it seems like. Must have negated. I don't know what that trap does. Light and Darkness Ritual. Oh my gosh, the hand shuffling. Return Stroke is going to negate and destroy. Shuffle them back, or add them back to hand. Does Light and Darkness add back to hand? It must. Unless the Black Chaos does. Maybe the Black Chaos does that. And we're going to get out BLS. BLS is going to be able to attack. And then it will, I believe, gain and be able to attack again. Oh, he didn't attack yet. He just BLS non-target banished the Surge. Alt Art pre-prep. He's pulled the Alt Art pre-prep from the OTS packs. I pulled the Alt Art Thunder Raiho. And Leo has gotten, I believe, 2 of the ulties. So Leo has crazy pull rates. Actually, if we're talking about crazy pull rates, Leo's pulled like 4 crowns, I think, if not 5. Leo's pulled at least like 4 Forbidden Crowns. I'm sorry for like the sudden zoom in. This must have been like a video break, and then we're closer to them. No, Leo also had. Am I unlucky? Nah, I gotta start like Griffo. I'm fine. So at this point we have Whiska, the Dogmatica Ecclesia, I think. Crackle. Grain. Return stroke is going to banish itself, returning the crackle. It's going to gain attack. It's going to go over our father passed. Whisker. Daddy Whisker. And then, oh, wow. Mitsu combo. My QCR Murakumo is doing work in this deck. It has like the count of how many things it's blown up high. And I think it blows up even extra because it's shiny. That's why I bought it in the first place, because I was like, this one actually has more power. The shinier the card, the more powerful it is. That's why I buy shiny cards. Okay, gonna get Great Purification. Are we linking? Are we doing the link stuff? Okay. Cross Sheep. Azamina combo. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. At this point, when he starts doing this, I mentally tune out because I get a little tilted when I see someone go through 5 different engines. This is where my brain just starts like playing a hymnal, because I'm like, we gotta stay calm and focused, because what do you mean you just did Rollad combo and now you're gonna do Mitsu combo and now you're gonna do Azamina combo? I'm waiting to see Cupsy Yummy at this point. I'm like, where's it going? He's not playing all that, but we are gonna assuming 5 Angry Girls. I got Celine. We got Relinquished. What is happening, sir? What are you doing? 5 Angry Girls. Droll. Do we add back the droll? Look at the cards, look at the cards, look at the cards, get the cards, shuffle the cards, put it in. How are we still doing Azamina combo? Okay, okay. Shuffle. Look. All 3. Protect. Firewall. I don't know what's happening. He has never actually... Oh, we add back... That is so... Why did we discard the droll? Did we add back and discard the droll? Okay, Crackle. Do we pass on this? That deck is looking thin, sir. That deck is looking thin. No way. Did we not pass on this? We just kept going? What is happening? Is it still his turn? I was not seated for this. I was elsewhere. I was not actively watching this happen. Okay, I think he passed. I think it's over. I think that was a really, really long combo. I could do a whole rant session about any decks that involve more than 2 engines. But instead, I should probably work to remember that this is a legal way of playing. And God, if I have to play against decks like this at the regional, may I not get tilted. They Isn't it Leo's turn? Why are we still doing things? What is happening? Whose turn is it? What is happening? Sir, let him do something. What am I watching? I'm sorry. If you're someone who's trying to get into Yu-Gi-Oh and you're watching this, please don't let this scare you. This is like, this was weird. This was wild. That was a lot. Okay. Hideout. Search Surge. Surge the token. Take it back. Take the token back. Grain triggers. Get breakaway. What do we break away? Do we even break away anything? Because he can mind shuffle. Stuff's getting attack boost, so do we just attack? Yeah, I knew it. I was like, he's going to try to break away the Murakumo. He's going to mind shuffle. And at that point, I think that must have been the handshake of concession. A lot of breakaways. That was a game. I don't know what I witnessed, but I witnessed. So after coming off of my momentous win in round 1, easy work, light work, we go to round 2 where I get matched up against, yep, that's Reina's boyfriend. So I made the joke. It wasn't even a joke. I made the true statement of whoever wins the dice roll is going to win the match. And I never win the dice roll against him. I don't know why, but it is one of those things that I've come to terms with Elf Note of going first. It does one. I don't even know if it's coming to terms with Elf Note or just coming to terms with like the current state of the game, that going first is such a crazy advantage. Okay, so here's what I was alluding to when I was now rewatching the game that he was playing against Leo. He verbalizes, I'm placing the trap. And then he goes to activate the trap, and I ghost ogre. And he was like, oh, well, you can't because it wasn't already face up. And I was like, what are you talking about? You literally said place, and you placed it. Like, your words matched with your actions. He's been shortcutting, which, good thing we caught this before the regional, because Griffo does not place. And it does matter, because setting and activating the effect to do the search and discard, you're not going to ghost ogre that. I can ghost ogre it when he goes to do like the summon thing. So I admittedly was like, you saw my hand motions. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? Like, I was like, okay. I also asked the question. I was like, hey, if this happens at the regional, like, do I call a judge? Because you misrepresented the game state. You now know a piece of interaction I have in my hand, because okay, we're going to go ahead and ghost ogre the Azamina stuff. I was led to believe that I could ghost ogre it because you said place and you placed it. So it is important to remember that Griffo does not place, it sets. I'm repeating this for myself as well because I do think people will shortcut. I get it. It effectively places because you are able to activate it the turn that it's set, but it doesn't. It doesn't place. That's different, because if it places, it can get ghost ogred versus if it sets and then you can activate it on that turn. So, it was what it was. It was something that I verbalized to him, and he also was like, yeah, for the regional, I need to like not do that. And I was like, yeah, but I also like, I realize, there's things I also need to be aware of. And I think if you're playing against a rollout player, that is something to definitely be aware of, that it does not place. Anyway, so we are looking at a full, I believe I stopped the Azamina stuff. Oh, I did not have to sit through a combo the way that Leo did. Watching that back, I'm like, that was strong. That was a strong will to sit through that, because I would have probably been like, why? So this is the end board. He did forget to set something before I drew, and I was like, yes, go ahead. It's a locals. We're going to be able to, take some stuff back. I was super stoked to be able to use Pass Law. We have different opinions on this card. He's not entirely sure if he likes it. Whenever I've been able to use it, I do really like it, and it was able to draw out the Purification. So at this point, the Murakumo will come back, forces him to use it immediately. I'm going to scale Junaldo. After scaling Junaldo, I will special Lucina, which will trigger Junaldo to allow me to draw 2 discard. Here is another thing to remember. We both forget about the SB. And that is something about Yu-Gi-Oh! That is important to note, is that it is on both players to keep a legal game state, which is... I have to remember that because sometimes I get like, oh my gosh, he said place on the Mind Shuffle. Well, yeah, but it's on me also as the opponent to read the Griffo and realize it sets. Oh, he should have reminded me about the SB. Yeah, but it's also on me to like remember that SB comes back. Same thing when I make illegal plays of like, I know it would be a perfect world if we just assume the person playing the deck, because like you're going to see it in match 3. I do an illegal play with Medius where Medius had already come back from grave, and then it goes to grave again, and I resummon it from grave. It should have been banished. And yeah, like, yes, I should have known that that was illegal because I'm playing the deck. But at the same point, it also is on the opponent to like, I think that's where Yu-Gi-Oh! Has that extra complexity to it, because it's not just about knowing what your cards do. I feel like if you want to play at a higher level or be more competitive or just like continue to grow in this game, you also have to know what your opponent's cards are doing, and that is a whole thing. At this point, I'm taking the time to think through my play. Something I'm trying, and a tip I have for kind of everybody, because I could go on a whole soapbox about decks that run more than 2 engines. It is not... So playing against someone who, and my boyfriend and I have had this conversation, he knows my thoughts on this, and he understands it too, in the sense of like, yeah, it is not, if you are playing a pile, if you are playing something that has very long turns, because you're doing, multiple combos, it is not on your opponent to concede due to the time pressure or to play faster due to the amount of time you took. So take your time. So I am taking my time because I am realizing that this is going to be a difficult board. I have already gotten through more than I thought I was going to. At this point, making June Pride, I was stoked. I am thinking I should have left it on June Pride and done that on his turn. It's hard to say because the Lucina is not going to come back. I'm telling you right now, we both forget about the Lucina and the SB, which is going to make a difference. But I think ending on June Pride and having the trap set would have been fine. I do try to go to battle, and he reminds me about the Habakiri, and so just how, he forgot to set Purification. I said, yeah, that's fine. I forgot about the Habakiri giving everything 800, and so we let me back out of battle and stay in main. But yeah, I think if you're playing more than 2 engines in a deck, and so you can do a lot of comboing, like you're playing 3 combo decks together is kind of what it ends up feeling like, or multiple, right? I've seen Fiendsmith, Yummy, Rolad, like I've seen where people throw in literally 60 card piles where you just have a bunch of extra stuff. You have to make the choice of how quickly can I do my combo, and is there a point where I stop to allow my opponent time to try to break my board? Because just making a strong board because you do all these things does not mean that your opponent has to immediately concede. And I often feel, so at this point, I'm trying to get into probably Crystal Wing, if I had to guess, in order to beat over something, because it'll get the attack in. If your goal is to make such a strong board that you think your opponent's going to concede, they don't have to. They can play into your board as much as they want. There's no rule that says just because you make some crazy strong board means that your opponent doesn't get an opportunity to play. But on that note, your opponent also gets time. Like, I have time to play. And I often feel like the struggle with 2+ engine decks is not the strength of them. They're very strong. It's the time. It's that pretty much every round he played on this version of Rolad, because he was doing Mitsu, Ritual Light and Darkness, and then he recently added in Azamina. And I feel like the 2 engines was not having the struggle, but adding in Azamina, he was going to time pretty much every game, and he was getting the games. He was able to like get the games. But because I think they were only game 2 on match 1 now that I think back on it. Like, you're leaving your win up to the opponent to either concede, or you have to concede and go to game 3. And like, I just feel like it leaves a lot to the opponent to do, because you are having very just naturally long turns, even if you're moving as fast as you possibly can, trying to get through 3 engines. Like, seeing that combo from match 1, like this is in 2.5 times speed, and that was a really long combo. And so it's a choice you have to make. But I also think, so my advice to players who are doing 2+ engines is, I think, and we're going to see it in game 3, because we will end up going to game 3. Figure out the most optimal way to make a board that gives you a higher chance of winning without taking a bunch of time. So he's going to go ahead and get game 1. I will choose to go first in game 2. So you need to figure out, like, do I have to do all 3? And can I do it in a timely manner? I think game 1, especially if you're going first, go all out. Like, you have 50 minutes. Have at it. But once you start getting a game 2 or 3, specifically if you're going first, I think you have to be mindful of, like, how much can I do without it taking so much time that we're going to go to time and double loss, because it's also not on your opponent. So that's my advice if you're playing 2+ engine decks. Figure out the most optimal. You got to know what each of your engines does. What's the point of each of the engine? What are you trying to end on? Who are you playing against? You know their deck now, especially after game 1. You know what they're playing. How can you end on a board that is most likely going to counter them without doing a time suck? Because my advice to people who are playing against 2+ engine decks, do not feel time pressure. Do not concede based off the fact time on ball. I've said this in like other videos. Just because your opponent is playing a deck that is allowing them to have 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, like some crazy amount of time comboing, does not mean that it is their job to beat you. So that's why I'm saying they need to know how to move it. They need to know when to call it. They need to be making those decisions. That's not on you. It's not on you to make the decision of like, oh yeah, I need to play faster because their turn took 12 minutes. They took a 12-minute turn and it's still game 1. And so I need to only take a 5-minute turn because I got to make sure that we have time to, no, you don't. Take your 12-minute turn. I mean, obviously move at a reasonable pace. Don't do this out of spite. That is not what I'm saying. I am not saying play slow because they had a big, do what you need to do. Take the time to think, breathe through it. They're choosing to play a deck that it takes long combos. That's fine. Just because you are not playing like, and I don't know, it's a combo deck. I can take a while too, even if I want to do my full combo, right? Like it's not, here's me going first. This is not going to be like the fastest turn you've ever seen. But it's just important to know that every player in this game deserves to play the game regardless of how their opponent is choosing to play the game. And that it is not on you to concede. It's on you to think of your opponent being like, oh my gosh, they took all this time. So like here you see me thinking, I'm going to take my time. I know that the clock is going, but I want to know, I want to really think through my play so I can try to make a board that is going to best set me up for a win. So at this point, I have Cyframe Omega. I have hand ripped the pre-prep. I ashed the Perulia. They have the Mind Shuffle set with Griffo, which means that they can activate it this turn. They have 2 cards in hand. So I'm also trying to be more mindful of what my opponent is doing. I will say this match I took way more seriously than I did match 3 because we're both going to the regional. I kind of wanted to go into this with like a regional mindset. So at this point, I am pretty sure. So another tip from my boyfriend, from me to you, to all that, like, I don't think Rolad plays a lot of hand traps. I know his version doesn't play too many hand traps. I think I need to look into it. I think most versions of Rolad don't play a lot of hand traps. So I probably could have tried to go into different, like Hyper Librarian to get a bunch of draws. I choose to not put June Pride in the center. They are going to Mind Shuffle, search, and discard. I am going to search off of Power Pigeon because I don't believe I did earlier. I think that's what was happening. I'm going to Special Fortuna. I'm going to place, and then I'm going to go into a Chaos Angel. So here's what I'm saying in terms of time. he has to figure out, given the fact that the first game took kind of a little while, right? Can he win game 2? And here's where, like, from my perspective, I want to go to a game 3. It's my best chance of winning. His perspective doesn't want to go to a game 3. You want to win it in 2. So he's going to Black Chaos. This is going to allow him to non-target banish. My Chaos Angel is protecting the June Pride. I am going to go ahead and do the Rhapsodia because I know it's going to get banished. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't have Strelitzia in grave. So I am going to negate the Mind Shuffle, though, and that's my thought of doing it now. So if I do it now, I can at least get the Mind Shuffle negate because I know the only 2 choices he has are Welcome Home and the Trap. So I'm able to negate the Mind Shuffle, and then he has his choice of what he is going to banish because my synchros are unaffected. So this is what I'm saying. He's having to figure out, like, how do I get over Chaos Angel? I'm then going to Droll, and Droll for Rolad is tough. Now, granted, he did the Mind Shuffle on my turn, so he was able to get some searches. He still has a pretty full hand. He has the BLS. BLS is going to banish the Welcome Home. So at this point, though, I do not believe the BLS is big enough to beat over Chaos Angel. He doesn't have Habacuria out to give it a boost. I think he's thinking, I mean, he literally verbalized to me, how do I get over a Dark and Light Chaos Angel? At this point, we have maybe 7 minutes left in the round. Oh, look, there's my little March Hare I let someone borrow. My beautiful Euro March Hare. So he's having to make the choice. And that's what I'm saying. If you're doing these types of decks, you got to realize, like, hey, that first game took a while because it was a kind of long combo. Game 2, he could keep going and try to get over the Chaos Angel, but, like, what if he doesn't? And then we go to game 3 with even less time. I do remember feeling the time crunch going into game 3, and I think that's something I need to remind myself for the regional of, like, I really think I just want to pretend like time. I know it's a thing, like, play at a reasonable pace, but, like, to allow decisions to be made through the lens of, like, how much time is left, slow it down. So we do side. I'm trying to be as quick as humanly possible. You could tell he immediately, like, you can tell how fast he sided. And I even say, because I'm not the best at shuffling, that's why I normally pile shuffle. I'm like, hey, can you give it a couple shuffles for me just to try to make sure that it's, like, actually shuffled? Because we, at this point, I think have, like, sub 6 minutes. Like, we got to move. And so this, again, is what I'm talking about in terms of if you are someone who is playing these types of multi-engine decks. He's going first. He will not be able to do all of it in time. I ash the Raggy Records. He's going to pre-prep. If he he ends up getting away to get into every engine. But he knows, and this is something I think if you're going to play these types of decks, you got to be mindful of. He knows that if he gets into every engine and creates a super strong board, it's going to leave me with maybe, like, 2 minutes to play. The odds that it's then going to get back to him to win, low. And it is not my job to concede because you took a long time setting up your board. Okay, right? Like, it's not your opponent's job to concede. I think there's this misrepresentation or this, like, idea that some people have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Of, like, well, I went first. I made this unbreakable board. Of course they have to concede. They're not going to be able to break my board. It doesn't matter if they had 5 more minutes. It doesn't matter if they had 10 more minutes. Like, this is my crazy board. She's not going to be able to break this board. Did you win? Did you win the game? Or did you just make a crazy board? And then, like, obviously, if my hand was terrible and I had nothing to play into it, or if you give me time to play into the board and you negate everything and I have no cards in hand, yeah, GG's, you got it. But if I still have plays to make, so he passes here because at this point we're sub 5 minutes. I probably have like 4 to 5 minutes to play. I love a Golem. I tribute the Murakumo. Don't do that. Don't tribute the Murakumo. Don't tribute the Murakumo. Lesson learned. At this point, though, we're speedrunning. There's no takesy backsies in this game. This one is like, okay, you tributed my Mirakumo? Cool. Trigger Mirakumo. I'm going to special Tinia. Mirakumo's going to come back. It's going to blow it up. I'm going to normal Baby Bird and then use Lull to get a Medius. He's going to have me discard, which I have an effect failure to do. Medius is going to allow me to add to hand. At this point, I'm wondering, well, yeah, I end up special summoning Junaldo because I want to negate the cards on field. I do think Lava Goleming the Mirakumo, like, it's hard to think through exactly what would have happened because he still would have had access to Purification or, because I think that's what says Purification or Prayers. So I go ahead and I Junaldo. And then Junaldo effect, well, multiple chains. I have the negate and then I have the add back. I go ahead and I add back Lucina. Fire Patron to increase. At this point, he will Purification to negate and destroy. I think I should have not had Medius in the center because then when he negated and destroyed, I could have Lucina'd. I am going to go battle, and because it's a Power Patron, I can do Terminus to banish. Did I have Terminus engrave? I actually didn't, so I think I just attacked over it. And then I pass. So at this point, pressure's on him to go ahead and blow my board up, get out another monster, and go for game, which he is able to do. But it is important to note that when you are playing decks like this that get into time crunches, and just being mindful of time, and just because your opponent takes a really long time on their turn does not mean you have to go super fast on your turn. But it's also, it's just a trying to figure out, like, do I think I can win? Because, like, when I had my Chaos Angel out, I think he was like, I probably could get over it. It's going to take me a really long time. Same thing if your opponent does, like, a crazy long combo. You know, try. I don't think throw in the towel. Don't look at an end board and be like, I can't get over that. Try. But once you have exhausted your resources, I think it's best to go to the next game in order to try to keep it moving. So I won round 1 because I had the bye, and then I lost round 2, but we did go to game 3, which is always I feel like a perk, a positive in my mind. Match 3, we are against Lance, who I feel like there's always a story about Lance's deck in these videos. Okay, so he wants to learn to play Invoked. Ew. No, it's fine. Invoked is fine. I just don't understand what it's doing. It's a really tough matchup. He wants to learn to play Invoked, so he ordered the cards. He went and got the cards, but he's still missing some stuff. So he was planning on borrowing the Doom Z deck for this locals. We go to hand him the Doom Z deck. It's missing 5 cards. I don't know what 5 cards it's missing, but getting ready for the regional, we definitely have been going through decks that we're not actively using and, like, moving stuff and blah, blah, blah. So something probably got moved. So we don't know what cards it's missing. And so Lance is like, I guess I'm playing Invoked, but he was also missing cards. So we just give him, like, I had extra, like, nibs and imperms on me. So I was like, here you go. So it was like, looks like Lance is learning Invoked at this locals. This deck is scary. I think Invoked is very scary because, again, this was maybe his 6th. If he went to game 3 both times, then this is his 7th game playing this. If he didn't, then it's his, like, 4th game playing this. Either way, this deck still kind of went a little bit crazy, in my humble opinion. The ability to fusion summon by banishing stuff from either graveyard is just crazy. So I am very scared for when he fully learns this deck because already he did try to nib and I crystal winged. So my end board right now is basically 3 negates. I so he's going to try to imperm the Crystal Wing. At this point, I'm going to chain Rhapsodia to negate it. I will summon Strelitzia. I already control other synchros, so I'm going to go ahead and get the negate off. I also had to face kind of the lesson, the idea that I was talking about with when in match round 2. of, I know going first, I'm able to make a pretty good board and can probably go for game. But it's not on my opponent to concede. And this first game kind of went, you know, I went first. I had the negates. I was able to figure it out. But oh my gosh, game 2. Hyper invoked Aeon is Aeon, Aegon. The Targaryens. Anyway, sorry. It is a doozy to get over. One, it's so much attack, and then the ability to do the banishing is just crazy. So thinking back, would have been in my best interest to just take it to a game 3, because game 1 with the board that I have, I think if you can, I don't know much about Invoked. If you're playing Invoked, please give me some tips. I really think if you can keep them from getting into an ability to fuse into the Hyper Invoked, you're probably fine. But I feel like with, the Crystal Wing, the Dawn Dragster, the Rhapsodia, that makes it. Serena Gates, man, like that's a pretty hard thing to play through. And then on top of if I have any hand traps, that's gonna be a tough one to try to get through. When they go first, especially, so I played against it in Omega way more than I played. This is like my first time playing against it in real life. When they go first in Omega and they are able, so at this point I'm Strelitzia bringing back the Lucina to return back to hand. Gosh, the pseudo Di-Fi, the pseudo Droll, the 1 monster effect per turn, like if they set up that board, I don't even know what I could possibly do to get over it. So at this point, I just need to have lethal on board. The issue is that the Strelitzia has 0. So I am going to Strelitzia summon back the Tinia, and then I can Rhapsodia send the Strelitzia to summon, and then that should be game, because the Elf Note girls are pretty beefy themselves. So at this point, this will be game. So we go into game 2. And I didn't side for this one. I kind of just wanted, I think the other thing too was my mindset around this match versus match 2. Match 1, my mindset was, man, why do I have the bye? Round 2, because I know we're both going to the regional, I really feel like I locked in. And this one, I just realized that it's like he's learning Invoked. I also don't really know what Invoke does, so I don't side because I'm like I kind of just want to see what the deck does. I kind of just want to see what's going on. So he's going to go first. I am fully preparing to have to play and do some floodgates. Oh, I have thoughts on floodgates. I mean, they're great when you're playing them, right? They're awful when you're playing against them. But it is something to note that he's trying to learn like the deck. And so figuring out like how do I get into all of those floodgates is kind of the question. You can get into the Hyper Invoke, though. I don't know if necessarily getting into the floodgates matters because that one is crazy. Normal summon Alistair. I believe he gets Sword. Which is going to allow him to fuse. I should read these cards, too, before the regional just to know exactly. Because I'm just trusting that he's reading the card. I do know that I think all the fusion stuff lets you fuse from hand, field, grave, which is absolutely insane. Invoked. Gonna get out the lion. The lion, I believe, is a searcher, or is it a sender? Searcher. The other thing I learned about Invoked from playing this game is that there's a lot of recursion. Like it got grindy. They have a lot of like shuffle back, add back, like stuff that's engraved can come back, stuff that's been banished can come back. So it's like, it's not even about if they don't have a lot on their board. They build their resources in their graveyard is what it felt like. If there's stuff engraved, it's going to come back. If there's stuff banished, it's going to come back. So like the more cards they're allowed to play, the more it just like starts steamrolling and there's just like more and more stuff. I'm double checking that one is not going to be any type of like pseudo floodgate for me. Normal Medius. On summon effect is going to get ashed. We will place Welcome Home, activate Welcome Home, sending the Medius as cost. To get out Regina. Regina will get impermed. My middle zone is clogged. So at this point, and here's where I was saying earlier, like, this plays fine, but I don't banish the Medius after doing this. So I'm going to shuffle in the Regina to bring back the Medius or to clear up my middle zone. That will allow me to special. I think I have only Tinia in my hand, which is what makes it kind of weird because I already had Welcome Home. I probably should have Tinia'd first before Welcome Homing. That might have made more sense. Maybe. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have normal summoned Medius. I probably should have done the Elf Note stuff first and saved my normal summon looking back at this. Because at this point, like, those aren't going to go into anything. I already normal summoned. That's what I'm saying. Like, because I could have normal summoned Baby Bird when Regina got messed up. So at this point, I think I just have to pass. That was just the way I did that. I should not have normal summoned first, especially if you have Welcome Home in hand. I should have Welcome Homed. I should have Tinia'd first, honestly. That was a weird choices. Weird choices, Raina. Weird choices. Alistair, gonna go ahead and get, I believe that's another sword. So something I do remember him verbalizing to me was because I don't have stuff in graveyard, it's making the fusing difficult. I don't think that's a play style. I don't think that's a way to play against Invoked, unless you can like play under Shifter yourself. But me not having anything engraved was making it difficult for him to fuse into stuff. So I don't know. There's a tip. If you brick, or if you just don't have a way to go for game, probably don't just put a bunch of extra stuff in your graveyard because then it becomes fodder for the fusions. I believe this one is an ignition effect to banish something. Or destroy, so that way it has to be the Medius because I have Welcome Home. Well, it doesn't have to. Could have targeted the Tinia. Wouldn't have done anything. So I was like, I have Welcome Home out, so don't target the Tinia. That's something for the regional that I'm like, I've kind of had the conversation of like, how much do I have to tell? Like, it's so new. Oh, hyper invoked. It's so nuanced of like what you have to know about your opponent's deck or your ability to like read their cards. And it's like, when I play Welcome Home, do I need to tell them like, hey, this is going to protect my center monster from destruction? Because like, you know, if I hadn't said anything here, then I would have still had the Medius on board, which Medius, see, here's where Medius should have been banished. This is where I mess up and do some illegal plays later. Like, who's I know it's both players' responsibility, but like, I play the deck. It feels weird having people play into I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if you don't tell your opponent that Welcome Home protects your center monster from destruction, is it like in Omega where they target it and then it resolves without effect and then like it's frustrating for them, but it's like that's how you learn? Like, I don't know. Because it feels like withholding information, but also at the same time, it's like, is that my job to tell you what my deck does on all levels, especially like in a regional? I get in like a locals, but like in a regional, is that something that I should be? I feel like the answer is no. I feel like I play against a bunch of people who don't do that because it's like, that's like literally kind of the point is you set up your board and then it's kind of on your opponent to figure out how to break it and not you being like, let me walk you through all the things of how you can best try to break my board. At this point, okay, so this is the time where I was like, I don't know how to get over this hyper invoked. It's big. And I don't have anything that's going to be able to do that. So Dawn Dragster, I get out Fortuna. I have the Medius engrave, which is where I'm saying this was the illegal play because I do end up going into Chaos Angel. I'm not sure if there's a way I could have fixed, like if there's a different way I could have played it without doing the Medius engrave. See, here's where I see it, and I totally spaced that it should have been banished. That was 100% on me for not remembering that Medius, when it leaves the field, gets banished. So remember that too if you're playing against someone playing Medius. Because Chaos Angel on summon is going to allow it's going to be able to banish. So I can banish the hyper invoked. I don't know if I could have just sat on the Dawn Dragster in defense. I don't have June Pride. I don't know. Honestly, probably going to game 3 would have been the move, but this becomes kind of a grind game. Where then I beat over with Dawn Dragster. I have an illegal Chaos Angel. I thought this, see, watching this back, I'm like, okay, fine. I did do something. Did do something illegal. Normal Alistair. That's the thing, is even with the Fortuna and the Dawn. Oh, we find some of his extra deck cards on the ground. I still would have had the negate of Rhapsodia. And here's where I'm saying the recursion was crazy. Like the ability to have stuff engraved to keep playing. I was like, what is possibly happening? Like, what are we doing? Because able to get out another hyper invoked. I have to figure out how, because that's crazy just from grave. To be able to get another one out was insane. So more stuff's going to get banished because he used 3. My illegal Chaos Angel is making everything unaffected. Look at that banish. See, this is a hard game to commentate now that I realize, like, yeah, the Medius play was illegal. This was me being like, I don't know how to get over another hyper invoked, especially because I did something that was illegal. Yeah. Is that the same Medius? Bruh, that Medius is doing work. That Medius is doing so much work for me. Okay, this is admittedly why I like filming these things, because it also teaches me of like, girl, don't forget the Medius. That Medius has been to hell and back. That Medius has dodged so much. This game's not real. Like, at the minute I did it once and then I do it twice, this game's not real. If you're playing against a Medius player, just realize if they summon it from grave, you get to do that shit once. You get to do it once. Because then the minute it comes back, it's gonna get banished. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did, because it's illegal. So yeah, I mean, probably would have made sense to just wrap it up and go to a game 3 no matter what. Because at this point, I don't know what else to say, because this game is just not real. I do want to look into more of what Invoked does, because I do think the graveyard stuff is crazy, and so I need to read like the cards and figure out, maybe that's something we do together before the regional, is like read through some of the cards of decks that I might see. Because yeah, I think I'm looking at the time on this and I'm like, do we finish in the next 5 minutes? I don't remember. I think we might have ended up going to a game 3 with not a ton of time on it. And I'm pretty sure. I remember how it ends. I end up making Crystal Wing. And that just ends up because it gets attacked into. And so then it damage. Lots of damage. But I'm looking at how much time is left on this footage. And I'm like, is this enough time for what is actually going to be occurring? Thinking. That's what I'm saying. Crazy. Like top decks and they're able to still play. I need to read what this stuff does in the graveyard, because this deck is just like insane. Insane amount to be able to keep going and to keep playing through a whole bunch of stuff. But like I said, this game's not real because that Medius has gone to hell and back and he should not be here. Should not be here. None of that stuff should be there. So this game was just sorry. I should have just gone to a game 3, especially because going first, I feel like my end board does super well anyway. So this was me trying to figure out how much life I had left, which I'm pretty sure because I didn't put stuff in defense, but it was illegal, so it makes sense. He can attack over, and I would just, we would have to go to a game 3, which there a game 3 in the amount of time that I have left on this timer. I don't think, where did the footage go? Well, folks, after rummaging on my computer, it appears that the rest of the footage from that last match, I don't know where it is. I could probably find it, but I've been rummaging. The way it ended was I made Crystal Wing, and then that's what gets. I mean, go battle. Crystal Wing V. Anything over, I believe, a level 6 or higher is going to gain the attack, and bada bing, bada boom. You got a Crystal Wing is a rough one to deal with. So I ended up going. I mean, technically 2-1. I had the bye. Do we count the bye as a win? Yeah, it was like a momentous occasion for me. It was a really great win. So I went positive, but I was pretty bummed I didn't get to play the first round. I probably will not feel that way if I get a bye at the regional. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Omega to try to get ready for the regional. I will not be filming my games at the regional because can't do it. Konami said no. But I will just vlog my general experience for anyone who's curious about it. And then don't know if there will be a locals vlog the next week because our locals is going to be the day after the regional, and we're gonna see how I feel. I am also going back to work soon. I'm a teacher. Hi, if you're new here, if you didn't know, I'm a teacher. I've been on summer break. It's been great. Still planning on making content. Still gonna be uploading multiple times a week. Still hoping to play a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just going to be a matter of if I have the will to go to locals. The past few weeks I've actually been going, which has been really fun, but as someone who is kind of a stay-at-home little hermit goblin, when I'm feeling overwhelmed or tired, and back to school season is very overwhelming and tiring, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, hope you enjoyed locals. I went positive. Oh, we did it. Negative, double losses, positive. Partially because I got a bye, but you know what? Who cares? And we will catch you on the next one. A happy regional season. Good luck to everyone who's planning on going to a regional this season. If you're not planning on going, you know, hopefully you can live vicariously through those of us that are, and I will report back. And if you have any anxiety about it, hopefully my video helps, unless it goes awful. Unless it goes awful, and then it'll be a warning, and then no one will go. It's not going to be bad. It won't be bad. Can you tell I'm a little anxious about it? You can probably tell I'm a little anxious about it. Anyway, see you on the next one.